So somehow it's June, right? I mean, somehow we've made it to June. And I was looking at my old day planner before getting ready for this presentation. I realized I was supposed to be in Jacksonville this week, right? I was supposed to be all the way across the country doing my normal jive. And, suffice it to say that last September, November, October, doing my business planning, I thought I had a game plan for this year. I thought this was going to be a pretty standard year, and I could kind of forecast my income and client acquisition strategies, and travel, and, all the stuff I've been used to doing for so long. And like a lot of you, there's a sense of security in being able to plan and look down the road and anticipate not only who you'll be seeing, but what you'll be making and how you're going to keep growing the business. And clearly that all went right out the window. But we have survived as a group for 6 months of this year so far. And I'm so happy and proud to say that. We're all here and we're all moving forward. That's awesome. The purpose of a gap analysis, though, and this is what I'm going to be doing over this weekend, is to help you create a strategy and implement the tactics necessary to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be or should be or plan to be. I don't think there's anybody on this call that couldn't step back and say, I thought I'd be here, but now I'm someplace radically different. And what am I actually going to proactively do, right? What new decisions am I going to make to try and get my company back to baseline, to try and get my sales efforts back to baseline or even ahead of baseline? And what's cool about that is it's not a passive activity, right? I think going into summer, my emphatic encouragement is to make the decisions that help you regain, retain, and exercise control over your company. Let's not look at the next 6 months as cross our fingers. Let's make the right decisions. Let's identify the gaps, and let's take the steps necessary to bridge it to the best extent possible. So to begin with, number one, a gap analysis starts by identifying the needs or, the demand in the gap. Now, there have been significant environmental disruptions in terms of virtual selling, zero contact service. Lead production has changed. Your sales results may not be to the target that you wanted. Revenue production may have suffered. You may be still going through the process of integrating technology into your business. And certainly, you're going to have to think differently about how you acquire and retain new customers. But in considering these criteria, you then create a foundation, a behavioral foundation, and a financial foundation from which you can build. Ben? Thank you very much. Second, you have to establish what your present status is. Once you know where you want to be, you then have to say, well, from all of those criteria up until now, what's in my pipeline? And that's a really important question, right? If nothing changed, what is in my current pipeline of business right now? And when realistically is it going to leave the pipeline? Now, this is an important point because trends extrapolate. You may say, well, I'm only $10,000 off of my plan. Just pick a number based on where I thought I'd be. And at a surface level, that doesn't seem like that much money. But trends tend to extrapolate. And if you're $10,000 off plan right now, and if you don't do anything, that number then becomes $40,000 in a given period of time, and then $80,000 in an additional period of time. So you have to be aware that the gap is not just a hermetic number, it's also influenced by trends, and that those trends will continue to extrapolate unless new behaviors are taken. So you have to then figure out what your present status is. And then finally, and this is the best part, and this is where the action happens, compare and reconcile steps 1 and 2. All right? To the best extent possible, what do you need to do to close the performance gaps that have been created in your business? For circumstances, by the way, that are largely not in your control. What can you do to close the gap, right? And that's a difference. You know what you need to, but then you also have to be pragmatic and say, oh, these are the resources I've got. If I had $100,000 sitting around to do some aggressive marketing, advertising, web campaign, I would, but I can't. So what can I do with the resources that I've got that you feel are going to have the greatest impact? And then practically speaking, what are the tactics? Right? What are the daily things that you can do to take the right steps forward, given the resources you've got, to get incrementally closer, to stop the trends, and to help you start moving toward where you thought or wanted your business or your book of business to be here at the end of May. I look at the next 6 months as an opportunity for us, all of us, to continue to grow, but most importantly, to get proactive and to remember the old phrase that action cures fear. Action cures fear. So get after it.